Hello bosses, welcome to PR Made Easy. Today's masterclass is all about Christmas gift guides and how you can get your brand in them. Because despite the fact we are 20 odd days away from Halloween, the Christmas lights have gone up in my local town in Surrey, signalling that the retail festive season is definitely upon us. And we want your brand top of mind when people go shopping. And one of the one of the most successful ways that you can drive sales and be seen is to be featured in Christmas gift guides. Obviously, everyone wants to be in them. This is a big time of year for all retail brands, but I am going to help you to stand out. I am going to help you to get into the publications and on the platforms and channels that you want to be on. I'm going to take you step by step through the processes and through the actions that you need to take to get there. By the end of this video, you're going to have it completely nailed. You're going to be settled, ready and raring to go. So let's crack on. Okay, the first thing you need to wrap your head around is lead times. I'm talking specifically about monthly magazines here, so things like Vogue, Condé Nast Traveller, Elle magazine, Cosmo, all of those kind of titles. Monthly magazines are also known as long lead titles. It's because they work with a long lead time. Now with magazines, monthly magazines, it tends to be a 3-month lead time, meaning that the likes of Vogue and Elle and Cosmo are now working on their January issue. At the beginning of October, they're going to be working on their January issue, and they will almost certainly be planning February at the same time. So if you've got a story that you want to come out in January or February, or you're launching a product at that time, now is the time to be pitching to them. The one caveat for this comes with Christmas, because, and I have no real idea why, although I could probably find out if I bothered to do some research, is that magazines and actually all publications work towards something called Christmas in July. So Christmas in July is exactly what it says on the tin. It's when brands start to approach. Traditionally, it was only long lead monthly magazines, but now everyone's invited because of social media and everything so sort of out there to an event or to see a Christmas brochure or whatever it may be of what a brand's offering are for Christmas. So if you follow a particular Instagrammer or blogger or whatever, around July time, you will see them going to various Christmas in July events. We do them every year at the agency that I've worked for the last 14 years, the communication store, and it's something that's just sort of, it's the thing that's done, whether that changes in the long term or not, but at any time at the moment it is what it is. So if you want to be in a monthly publication in the print title of the publication, not on its online platform or on its social media platform, then you need to be pitching your Christmas stories to them in July, and that really is the time that you need to be doing it. So that means you've got to have your products ready, you've got to have them photographed, you've got to have all of your press information sorted, all of that stuff if you want to be in those titles come Christmas. So you need to be prepared. So whilst this piece of information is not necessarily useful for you for this year, hopefully it will be useful for you for next year so that you can plan in advance and in your PR calendar that you have in July that's when you're going to be doing your Christmas activation. Okay, the next vital step that you need to take is to do your research on the reader to feature. Who is the reader? What do they care about? What's important to them? What are their values? What do they like to spend their money on? What do they like to do in their spare time? By knowing who the reader is, you'll know that your product that you want to feature in their Christmas gift guide is exactly right for them. You need to be targeted. You need to be targeted in your approach or you will not get seen. You need to show the journalist or the influencer or whoever that you understand who their reader is and that your product is going to bring value to that reader and that it is right for their reader. Let me give you an example. So Let's look at Sunday Times Style, for instance, which is the weekly supplement that comes with the Sunday Times Style. This is how they describe their reader: affluent, indulgent, high spending. Readers are 22% more likely to pay for luxury toiletries and cosmetics. She is a she, mostly, nearly 80% of their readership is female. And the aim of the publication is to show her the best of everything. Now, if you are a luxury beauty brand with a high price point, this is your page, this is your title, this is the platform for you. If your brand is a bargain basement, hack cosmetics brand, which I don't judge, I buy both, then this probably isn't the right platform for you or the right channel. So don't waste your time. Go and find out who your customer is. Well, you should know that already, but what they're reading, and then marry that up between the values of the publication and your brand, because then you will have your editor or your influencer listening to your pitch. So you might be like, but how do I find out all of this information on the reader? How do I do that? You go onto Google. It's so simple. You just type in, who is the Sunday Times Style reader? And all of the information is right there on the Sunday Times Style page. You just need to look for it. The same with The Guardian, the same with Vogue, the same with The Sun, the same with Fabulous Magazine. Go out there, find it, look for it, understand it, and it will make your process of pitching and your opportunity of getting into that Christmas gift guide infinitely more successful. Another little tip for you is to, before you start pitching, so you've got your publications or your platforms where you want to be, you've done your research on the reader, you know that they're exactly the right platform or publication for your brand. Tick, 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 tick. What do you do next? The next thing I would suggest that you do before you approach the journalist to make your pitch super successful or super likely to stick or stand out to the person that you're targeting is see what Christmas guides they did last year. How are you supposed to see that? Again, same thing, Google it. Google Telegraph Christmas Gift Guides 2018 and you will be list of all of the gift guides that the Telegraph did last year. That is such rich knowledge because it will enable you to tailor the pitch for your brand in a similar vein, right? Because although Christmas gift guides and stuff, they might change every year, they basically stay the sort of same because they're a beast to compile. They're pretty joyless to compile, I have to say, although it probably sounds like they would be quite fun. Working on Christmas again and again, especially so long in advance, can take the joy out of Christmas a bit. So the publications or the platforms may stick to quite similar formats every year, or maybe just tweak it a little, but certainly similar. So if you look on the Telegraph, for instance, which I did, the ones that they ran last year were the best gifts for pets. I mean, they're going to do that again. They're absolutely going to do that again. The best charity gifts stand out more than once. Knowing that information will allow you to categorise and creatively target your product. Your reader is their customer. You do that homework. Okay, all that other stuff is done. The next thing you need to find out is who is writing the gift guide for the publication that you want to feature. It's sometimes a challenge, but it's definitely one that you can overcome. What I would suggest first that you do is you go back to your Google research where you looked at the gift guides that were compiled last year by that particular channel or outlet or whatever it may be, and see who wrote it. Because chances are it will be the same person who writes it again this year. So that's a good place to start. It's not necessarily beauty person or a fashion person or a features person who writes the Christmas gift guides. It's usually the person who has the bandwidth to do it. So it can be a sub-editor, it can be sometimes some of the PAs at the newspapers help to compile them. So it's not always the most obvious person that you need to go to. If you've got a beauty brand, it's not always to the beauty director, although that's where I would suggest that you start. But I would definitely look who wrote them last year. Another thing I would suggest, and this is what I wouldn't normally suggest this in other instances, but I think in Christmas gift guides it's absolutely fine to do this, is just to ring up the publication and ask. Ask who is compiling their Christmas gift guide, and if you may be kind enough to get an email address for that person so that you can get in contact with them. 9 out of 10 times when you do get through, they're going to give you that person's name and put you into contact. So definitely try that. If all else fails, try a DM on Instagram. Just really try and sort of pick your way through it, and you will get there. You will get the person that you need to contact. So be prepared to pick up the phone, be prepared to do a little bit of Instagram stalking and social stalking, and definitely look back on Google to see who wrote about the Christmas gift guides for that particular publication or outlet the year before. If it's an influencer that you want to target and be on their channel for their Christmas gift guides, again, try the DM approach. It may not work if someone's got a huge number of followers. In that case, then you need to contact their agent. Big influencers with huge followings have agents. So find out who that agent is. Again, easy. Google who is the agent work and then contact that agent and ask to be able to send Nadine or whoever it is you want to target your pitch for Christmas. Finally, what you need to do is you need to actually approach that journalist or that influencer that you want to target, and this will generally be by email because that is the easiest and most requested way to get this information through. If you put something in your subject headline like Christmas, gift guide, blah blah, or something generic, or something about your brand that's very generic, you are not going to stand out. They're not going to open your email. You need to be cleverer. You need to be more creative. You need to be more considered. Think back to what the headlines were last year. Can you replicate any of those headlines? Can you think of something that's a little bit more different that might spark a different idea for them? So say it could be, I don't know, gifts for the Virgo in your life, Christmas gifts for the person who's impossible to buy for, what to buy for the Secret Santa office, the ultimate Secret Santa top 5, something like that, something that's going to stand out and it's going to get their attention. You do not need to be a big brand to get into these Christmas gift guides. Journalists, influencers, they love featuring discoverable niche brands that would make really great gifts for someone for Christmas. So don't think because you're not a big brand and you're not a big player that you can't get onto that page or onto that platform, because you absolutely can. You just need to approach it in the right way. If you do all of the things that I've just talked through, I guarantee you will find some success and you will be on the right path to getting your brand featured in those gift guides. I hope you have found this video useful. I've created some show notes which you can I've created a download which you can take from my show notes below, where I've just downloaded some notes from this video and also included lots of links to gift guides from 2008 that I discovered online. Places like Grazia, Vogue, The Sun, Fabulous, all of those kind of titles. I've put about 40 or 50 on there because I know you're busy, and this way you'll be able to just click through and start your creative juices flowing. I hope you found this video very useful. Please do subscribe so that you don't miss any of this content, and also follow me on Instagram. I'm at Joelle Jones, which is me personally, and BeautyBeatComs for my PR Made Easy masterclasses. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.